What instantly brought back all of your insecurities? Last week, my coworker texted me a podcast link with zero context, just a message that said, listen to episode 34, trust me. I figured she stumbled onto something funny. Maybe a comedian we both like dropped something new. Maybe someone told an embarrassing story about their boss, and she thought it would make me laugh. I hit play on my lunch break with a sandwich in my hand and zero concern in my heart. The opening music was upbeat, cheerful even. The podcast is called Dating Confessions. Two women, best friends apparently, and each episode one of them tells a story about a date or relationship that went sideways. Simple format. One talks, one reacts. The reactions are the best part because the co-host has no filter whatsoever. Lots of gasping, lots of "are you serious?" Lots of "oh, that is so him" energy. It was entertaining. I was enjoying myself. Episode 34 is called The One Who Cried. I chuckled at the title. Took a bite of my sandwich. Kept listening. About 5 minutes in, something shifted. She started describing a restaurant, a little Italian place with red checkered tablecloths and candles stuck into old wine bottles. I knew that restaurant. I had taken a girl there on a second date about 2 years ago. Then she described what the guy ordered. Pasta with brown butter and crispy sage. I had ordered that exact dish. Then she described a joke the guy made about the waiter walking too slowly, and how the joke did not land, and how she laughed anyway just to be polite. I made that exact joke. I remember it not landing. My chest went cold, and I put the sandwich down. We dated for about 3 months. It ended fine, or at least I thought it did. Mutual thing. No big fight, no dramatic conversation, no hard feelings on either side. We just tapered off and agreed it was not going anywhere serious. I walked away feeling like a mature adult who handled something with grace. I genuinely believed we both moved on without any baggage. According to episode 34, I cried on our second date. She is not wrong. There was a stray dog sitting outside the restaurant window in the cold, staring at the people inside with this absolutely devastated look on his face, and something about it got to me. My eyes watered. I tried to be subtle. She noticed. I thought she found it endearing, maybe even a little sweet. I told myself it was a sign of emotional maturity. She told her co-host, on a recorded podcast available on every major streaming platform, that it was a deeply concerning red flag she chose to ignore for far too long. Her co-host responded with a long silence, and then the word, wow. That one took a minute. Then she got to the apartment. She had come over maybe 4 times while we were dating. When we first started seeing each other, I was still setting the place up and never fully finished. Some boxes stayed packed. A shelf I fully intended to hang spent 2 months leaning against the wall next to where it was supposed to go. I thought the place had a certain lived-in charm. She described my apartment on this podcast as looking like a man who started moving in and then quietly gave up on himself around week 3. The co-host made a sound I can only describe as a delighted shriek, the kind of laugh with no mercy in it. They were in tears. I could hear them struggling to breathe. My coworker has been to my apartment exactly once. About a year ago, I had a small get-together and she came. She walked in, looked around, and said nothing about the shelf or the boxes. She just smiled and asked where the drinks were. She found this podcast, recognized the details, confirmed her suspicions, and waited for the right moment to send it to me. I want to be annoyed, but I respect the patience. That is a long game. I finished the episode sitting in mild embarrassment, but mostly okay. One unflattering story on one podcast not that many people probably listen to. Ancient history. I could survive this. Then I made the mistake of opening the show notes. 7 episodes. There are 7 episodes about me. 34, 38, 41, 43, 47, 50, and 53. I counted twice. That is not a cautionary tale. That is a limited docuseries. Somewhere between episode 34 and episode 53, I went from a funny story she told once to a full narrative arc with returning listeners who had opinions about me. People have been following my story. There are strangers out there rooting for her to finally move on from me. I scrolled to the comments on episode 34. Someone wrote that I sounded like a project she never should have taken on. Another person wrote, poor guy. You can tell she actually liked him though. That second comment should have made me feel better. It did not. They gave me a nickname. Somewhere between the first and second episode, the listeners started using it in the comments, and by episode 38, the hosts had adopted it on air. They call me the Crier. I've been sitting in my car for 40 minutes and I still have 4 episodes left.